All right, I hope everybody had a good day. It's a little cool, a little breezy here in Central Arkansas, but all in all, it was a pretty day. We had a good day here at the gym here at Amax Fitness. Max and I got our workout in. All in all, not a bad day. Real quick, we covered mindful eating in our last video. Today we're going to talk about intuitive eating and kind of break that down for you just a little bit. Intuitive eating is really a form of eating that says, I don't need a diet. I don't need someone to lay my diet out for me. I don't need someone to tell me what I can eat, how much I can eat, or when I can eat. It's about taking control of your own health. It's about taking control of your own body, figuring out what works for you and moving forward with that. And one of the key principles of that is learning to honor your hunger, okay? When you're hungry, you need to eat a little bit. You don't need to eat till you're full. You need to eat till you're satisfied. All right. Stop thinking about whether or not you're eating enough to be full, and stop thinking about eating for pleasure. You do want to enjoy your meals, but you just want to satisfy that hunger. The longer you go without satisfying that hunger, the longer you go between meals, the more likely you are to overeat and or make poor decisions in what you eat. Okay. Also, when you're talking about intuitive eating, you're not saying I can or I can't eat any specific food, okay? You're allowing yourself the opportunity to eat or drink whatever you want. The thing is, you have to use moderation and you have to use portion control. If you want to enjoy a small piece of cake, you eat a small piece of cake, not a whole cake or several pieces. If you want a glass of wine, you drink a small glass of wine, you don't drink a whole bottle. And then you put that behind you and you move on into the next day and you get back on your normal eating schedule. All right. So you got to consider that. We're also going to say no to good or bad foods. There are no good foods. There are no bad foods. There aren't any foods you can have more of or less of as far as what you eat, okay? What you want to recognize there again is moderation and portion control. If you want something that you know is less than healthy, then eat it. The longer you put it off, eating something you're craving, the more likely you are to overeat that craving, okay? So go ahead, if you're craving something, eat a little bit of it, put it behind you and move on, okay? Also, when you start talking about intuitive eating, you want to think about satisfaction, all right, and not necessarily fullness, all right? We want to talk about eating till you're satisfied and then pushing away from the table and then coming back when you're hungry again and eating again. So really, in my opinion, intuitive eating comes down to what I preach a lot, and that's more frequent, smaller meals, okay? It gives your body to assimilate those calories and utilize them more effectively than if you're just eating one or two larger meals a day, all right? There's no doubt that makes a big difference. Also, when you're talking about intuitive eating as opposed to mindful eating, we're talking more about how food affects you emotionally and mentally than we are about how it affects you physically, like we are when we're talking about mindful eating. So you have to start recognizing why you're eating. Are you eating from stress? Are you eating from boredom? Are you eating from something else that's causing you to overeat or causing you to reach for food, at times that you normally wouldn't? We have to learn to recognize that. We have to learn to acknowledge that. And we have to realize that it's time that we start figuring out how we can address that boredom or address that stress without reaching for food, okay? That takes practice and it takes time, but it is possible. Like everything else, every other eating plan or every other eating style that you might encounter, you always want to think about exercise. You've got to move more. You got to increase blood flow. You got to increase circulation. You got to give your body a chance to be healthy, to move. If you don't like going to the gym, if you feel like working out like that is work, then find something you do enjoy. Find an activity that you can get your heart rate up, that you can burn some calories, that you can get the blood pumping, but it's something that you enjoy, okay? Let's look for that. And then I think really the main thing to remember is intuitive eating, like a lot of other eating plans, it's not about perfection. It's not about trying to be perfect all the time. It's about progressively trying to get better. It's about progressively trying to make better choices. It's about progressively, learning to satisfy that hunger, progressively learning to deal with that boredom eating or that stress eating. It's about progressively learning to get more activity. It's about progressively learning moderation and portion control. It's not about perfection. It's not all or none. It's not, I got to do it all right or not do it at all. Okay. You do the best you can and you progressively try to get better. Okay. For me, that's kind of the basics of intuitive eating. Similar to mindful eating, only intuitive eating, in my opinion, is more about your mental state and your emotional state than it is about your physical state. Hopefully that helps. Next video, we're going to get into purposeful eating, which is, more the kind of eating that I do most of the time. And we'll talk about the differences in purposeful eating as opposed to intuitive eating and mindful eating. Hopefully this helps. I'm trying to keep it as short as I can, but give you as much information as I can. I appreciate you guys watching the videos. I appreciate your feedback. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment or message me. I'll be happy to help. There again, you guys have a great day. Hopefully I'll come back to you end of the week, but if not, then it'll be after the eclipse. Hope everybody enjoys that. But anyway, y'all have a good night and we'll be talking to you soon. Thank you.